Welcome to M&A Unpacked, the weekly show where we bring on experts in MSP M&A, case studies from those who have gone through or going through the process, and top M&A and business minds to help you maximize the value of your MSP, whether you're buying, selling, or just trying to improve your business. Make sure that you go and subscribe to the Kaseya YouTube channel so that you know when new episodes drop, and you can even save the M&A Unpacked playlist for easy access. Now, today I have Justin Huffaker from Datamax with me. Justin, thanks for being here.
Hi, Mike. Thanks for having me.
It is now, where in the world are you, first of all?
Well, I'm based out of Coppell, Texas. Coppell is on the northern side of the DFW Metroplex, kind of centrally located, but we're on the north side.
So now you guys are an interesting company. I've talked to you. I get to talk to all sorts of folks, and it's different sizes, buyers who are coming to this from, small buyers, big buyers, enterprise level, platform buyers. You guys are completely unique in that you're a $5 million MSP, but you are a $52 million company. You guys are a copier. You started as a copier company, and you're growing the division of MSP. You're the VP with you're VP with the sole responsibility for the MSP business, correct?
That's right. That's absolutely right. I yeah, I came to Datamax specifically to start the MSP business. And I knew the president of Datamax at the time, and it was at a time when office equipment was transitioning from standalone boxes to things that connected to networks. And I told him at the time that I would help with two things, and that is accelerate Datamax and that digital transition from standalone to connectivity. And we would build a separate revenue stream and diversify our company away from just being focused on the box. And we would have a more holistic technology business that we could offer to our customers.
Yeah, and you guys are very interesting. You have a strong company culture. I know everybody talks about that, but you guys really have an extraordinary company culture. I mean, you've been with the company for 26 years.
26 years. Yes,
Amazing.
on the one hand, I'm very proud of that. On the other hand, I have a shiny bald head to go along with those 20 with those
I
20.
know
I
I
had a
know how you
full head of
feel.
hair when I got started, Mike. I will say that.
Me too.
But yeah, I report directly to the president of the company, and in inter-employee meetings that we have all the time, he makes the point that culture is everything. Our culture is everything. And we've been a multiple year winner of best places to work in our Arkansas marketplace. We've won it in Texas, best places to work. And a lot of that is due to the fact that as an executive group and senior managers, we put a lot of effort into listening to employees and making sure that people have a platform to speak their mind. And I mean, the guy that I report to, the president, he's so committed to company culture. He put together this book. It's all about Datamax and who we are. And it's the Datamax Little Blue Book. And every new employee gets one of these things. And on the inside, there are just different statements about who we are and what we do. Here's one. It says problem seek and problem solve. If you have a problem, speak up. Let's fix it. Let's figure it out. Honor our systems or initiate positive change. If people ever get the answer, we do it this way because that's the way we've always done it, that's the wrong answer. We want to figure out, is there a reason? Should we keep doing things the way we're doing? And so we put a lot of time and energy into supporting our employee population and our culture. I was just working with our HR department the other day as I was thinking about this. And I've got 26 years with the company. We just celebrated that. 50% of the Datamax employee population has been with Datamax 5 years or longer. And we're a company that currently has about 230 employees. 35% of the employee population has been with Datamax 10 years or longer. So it's quite common to talk to a Datamax employee and find out that they've got 15, 18, 20. We just celebrated the retirement of a guy with 45 years in the company.
Wow,
45 years.
incredible.
Yeah.
They haven't had computers around that long, practically.
It it's amazing to hear the stories from some of those people who have been around that long, Mike, that just to hear about all the things they've seen, all the changes.
Oh my God, I would guess probably part of that copy, like you're talking mimeograph, like what do they call it? Like the three. Trying to think back when I was in school, I remember they put on these you'd make copies and they would be on this roller thing, and
Mimeograph, right?
I'm dating myself a little bit. That's not
Yeah.
true. If I keep my mouth shut, people are gonna be like laughing at the old guy. But that's a heck of a thing. And I love the blue book. We were talking about that a bit, and it's one thing to say you've got company culture. It's another thing to put it into practice and put it into motion. And I mean, you were telling me a story where people are somebody in a meeting. I think we were talking about this. Somebody in a meeting able to go to that book and literally say, well, it says I should be able to stand up here and say this, and people are invited to do that. Like I've talked to people. I talk to so many different people that work in so many different places, and you hear different viewpoints of company culture. The owner maybe says one thing and an employee says another, but in your company, not so much.
We really work on it. Part of our new employee onboarding process, every new employee gets a welcome kit. And in the welcome kit, there are some gifts and some welcoming literature. They participate in key contact interviews where they meet key people in the company and they wind up with the president of specific divisions. And then a lot of the times they end up with Barry Simon, the person that I report to, who's the president of Datamax. When people come into my group, I spend a considerable amount of time encouraging them to speak up. And the guidance that I give them, I say, listen, I have a VP title, but I want you to think of us as a very flat organization. Uh, Everybody has problems. And the thing is we want to find and talk about our problems before they show up in front of a client.
Mm.
And as long as you are respectful and courteous and thoughtful with the comments you make, you can tell me I'm wrong. You can tell me that I have a bad idea. Let's just respect each other and talk about it openly. And, that's hard for some people who are used to working elsewhere where they're told, this person's up on a pedestal because of their title and you don't speak your mind. Here at Datamax, we encourage people to speak up and speak their mind. Just do it with courtesy and respect. Speak up and talk to people the way that you would want to be treated, and everybody will be fine.
Love it. And you guys have a monthly newsletter that you do for your employees, correct?
We have a monthly newsletter. Yeah, it goes out to the employee population. And the majority of it is about different employees in the company so that people know who people are, what they do, what their job function is, what do they do for hobbies. We also use that to speak about key business concepts. We all do a business plan, and the business plan is core to our company. Each division does it. And sometimes the company newsletter talks about the business plan, but other times it talks about the person who works in the warehouse in Tyler, Texas, and what they do on the weekends. We feel like it's important that people know each other so that we can have an inclusive, vibrant employee community.
So you guys have been around since 1955. That's incredible. Number one, 10 offices, right? Arkansas, North Texas, East Texas. You guys are family owned. No PE money here. No venture capital. This is how you're. Tell us more about who you guys are.
Yeah, we have been around since 1955. We got our start in St. Louis. And we got our start as an A.B. Dick printing company. Now, there's a name that will send people running to Wikipedia to figure out what the heck is AB Dick, but they were a printing press type company, a small printing press. And the company really transitioned in the 70s when Japanese copier dealers came across the Pacific and started bringing their copier technology to people who were in the printing business. And that was a stepping stone toward the digital future. So, um, we started in St. Louis. We eventually came down to Dallas, Texas. We came to Little Rock, Arkansas. Um, as I mentioned previously, when I came to Datamax, I was working for Canon, the copier camera manufacturer. I went to work for them out of college with a computer science degree. And I did a lot of traveling. It was time to get off the road. And that's when I came to Datamax and pitched them on the idea, let's diversify this revenue stream. And it was good timing on my part. It was good timing on Datamax. We worked well together. And it was right at that pivotal moment when the copier channel was going digital. And it was a perfect opportunity to get into the MSP business and technology consulting and all kinds of different things related to tech.
Amazing. And you guys have quite a bit of experience with acquisitions. Let's talk about that. You've done a few MSP. Obviously, you've done a bunch as copier, but let's talk about the MSP acquisitions. What have you
Okay.
guys done?
Well, you're right. We've done both copier, we've done combined copier and MSP, and we've done some straight up technology acquisitions. Our company is committed to growth through acquisition and through organic sales growth. So, we've had some technology acquisitions that have worked out well for us. There was a couple of very small ones. We also bought a Apple dealer before Apple pulled their distribution channel back into company stores. We bought an Apple dealer in Little Rock, Arkansas, and it worked out great for us, got us into the consulting business in Arkansas. And I worked with the guy who owned that dealer for many years. We've also purchased companies that were in the copier and MSP business. And it's kind of a mixed bag for us there. We found some really great people, but it reinforced that you have to pay attention to the business model. You have to really pay attention and do some due diligence on the business model to make sure that it's a good fit for both companies. In that case, it was a great fit on the copier side. We've been off and running. On the MSP side, it was a decent fit, but there were some points of friction, such as hourly rate, contract type, focus of the work, expectations of existing customers that took a while for us to overcome and get our legs under us there. So there's some key points of learning there for us in an acquisition like that.
Yeah, let's talk about what a good acquisition looks like for you guys. Obviously, you're on a platform here in front of a unlimited amount of sellers. Who are you looking for? Who's a good fit for Datamax to talk to you guys?
Well, we are, as we discussed, we're privately owned. We have money in the bank. We've been a frugal company for a long time, and we've been real careful and smart with our money. So we don't rely on bank financing. We don't rely on private equity, venture, none of that. It's all privately financed. Um, we are looking we're looking for both copier companies and MSPs. On the MSP side, we're looking for companies that are in the $1 million to $5 million range. We feel like we can bring a lot of value add to companies in that size, from both the size and stability of our company to the knowledge that we bring about sales into the marketplace and about how to run a business. And when I say run a business, there's more to running a business than just selling, or there's more to running a business than being a tech guy. Anybody that's been to peer groups knows that those peer group coaches will coach you on all kinds of things about running a business that you didn't even think of. So we've been in peer groups for a while, plus we've learned from the School of Hard Knocks, and we feel like we could really add value to the folks that chose to partner with us.
Yeah. Are you guys looking for people to integrate? What does the migration look like? Yeah, the integration once they become a Datamax business.
Well, the ideal candidate would be somebody that's on a Kaseya platform, because we're on a Kaseya platform.
Awesome.
And, we
You
love
get extra
Kaseya.
points for saying that.
There you go. Uh, you know, we haven't always been on a Kaseya platform. We were ConnectWise for a long time, and we switched over a few years ago and just haven't looked back. So we do have considerable knowledge with both ConnectWise and Kaseya. So our preference would be somebody who's Kaseya, but if they were a ConnectWise partner, we've got enough institutional knowledge that we can work with that.
Sure.
Uh, the right MSP is going to be stack based. They're trained on their computer, on their tool platform. They are solid with the solutions they bring to market. The old school MSP model is I'll take on whatever client I can find and I'll learn their technology. And with the risks that are present in the technology landscape with cyber attacks, most responsible MSPs just can't afford to take on every piece of tech and tell the customer we'll learn it and support you. We're looking for people who have enough operational maturity that when they do business, they're upgrading their client's technology with their own technology stack so that they can support their clients effectively. Those folks would be a smooth transition with us because that's the kind of approach we take to the marketplace. And even if they haven't done that, we feel like we can help coach and educate and mentor. And once we're together, we'll be able to bring that more operationally mature approach to them.
So the entrepreneur inside me gets excited talking to you about this. I'm not an MSP. I never was an MSP, but I've owned businesses. And if I did own an MSP, I'd be thinking, boy, I'll throw around my $2 words, TAM, the total addressable market for an MSP that is involved with you guys is huge, right? Because you're a $5 million MSP, but you are a $52 million company, which means you have a big TAM. So as an MSP, as a salesperson going in there, kind of an interesting I don't need to go in there and try and grab new business out of the blue. I can go in there and leverage the fact that you guys already have a huge customer base.
That's a real strength that we have. And I describe my team to people like that all the time. We're a small company inside of a larger, mature company. And the reality is that we do business. We have three primary anchor locations: DFW, Tyler, Texas, and Little Rock, Arkansas. But we also have substantial office locations in Hot Springs, in Texarkana, in Sulphur Springs, and Fort Smith, Arkansas. And we have, I would say, probably 50, between 40 and 50 dedicated salespeople and sales managers on the street, going up and down the street, knocking on doors, talking about Datamax. I've been to enough peer groups to know that most MSPs have a principal who does the selling, and they might have a quoter who does quoting. But having a dedicated hunter salesperson on the team, you do see that, but you don't see it very often. And that's what our folks do. They're out there making telephone calls, knocking on doors, going to chamber meetings, going to business function, spreading the Datamax word. And what that means that I get to do and other senior team members get to do is take on a subject matter expert role, and you get to speak at speaking functions. You get to go on qualified calls. You get to educate salespeople on what a good opportunity looks like. And these salespeople go out there and knock on doors and put you right in front of prospects. So it's, for the right kind of person who wants to participate in that kind of growth and that kind of presence in the marketplace, it's a wonderful fit because I can't be everywhere at once. And if a principal of a business wants to continue working in the business, then we're happy to talk to people about that.
And what happens after a company's been acquired? So you integrate them in. Are they still with you? Are the owners, the employees, like how is that what kind of, am I just selling and leaving? Am I coming in and being leader in your company or
It really boils down to finding out what the uh, principal wants to do. And, sometimes it's a couple of principals. There were two people that started the business and that are primary shareholders in the company. And we spend time getting to know each other, finding out what do you want to do post transaction, post sale? Do you want to, work for us and smooth over the transition for 12, 18 months and then right off into the sunset? Do you want to be a part of the company and continue to help us grow? I've personally been a part of both of that. The guy that we bought the Apple dealer from, he and I worked productively for years to grow the business, and it was a great working relationship. There have been other folks who, they had their RV gassed up and, they wanted to smooth in the transition for 12 to 18 months, but as soon as 18 months hit, there goes the RV. They just wanted to start that next phase in their life. And we certainly want to accommodate the different ways that people want to handle that next phase in their life.
and you've been at this for a long time now. You've done a lot of acquisitions. This is a big company. You must have seen some pretty interesting things along the way. I'd love to hear, I love hearing the stories about what went wrong. Like I don't want to put you in a bad spot here, but I don't want to put, this isn't a Barbara Walters interview where I'm trying to make you cry. But I find, we learn from mistakes and I think those are some of the best stories sometimes. But I want to hear, what went well, what went not so well, what have you learned over those many years?
Yeah, right. Well, the things that went well for us are when the service delivery principles, the rate structure, the contracts, the customer expectations were set up right. There was alignment from the very beginning about the service delivery model. So it was very seamless to take a product offering that was limited because of the size of the company that we were acquiring and kind of broaden it and offer more. We like to, if we're acquiring a company, we like to find out what offerings are they buying and can we go in there and sell other things to them? Can we sell them hosted voice? Can we sell them office equipment? Can we, we often talk about having one phone number. With one phone number, you can call and get your office printing taken care of. You can get your phone system taken care of. You can get your IT managed. So that's great. But we've gotten into trouble when we've made assumptions before about how other people do business. And I remember that we bought one copier company that also had an MSP, and it turned out that they weren't charging responsible rates for the MSP services. It was kind of thrown in as a value add if somebody did business with us in a copier transaction. So we're the kind of company that measures all kinds of things internally for our own metrics, financial metrics being one. So when we separated the balance sheet and we started to look at IT business and the copier business, and we found out there was a big problem with the revenue coming in on the IT side, that was a real shocker because we started to approach people, and where previously they were getting free services, now we wanted to charge them. And all things being equal, they probably would have paid for that if the expectations would have been different from the very beginning. But their expectations were, if I buy this office equipment from you, then the IT is thrown in for free. And it's, if you can perpetuate that business model and you have a consolidated P&L, that can work. But we're the kind of company who breaks those things out and looks at each business unit holistically, and it wasn't working. And it was a struggle for a few years to overcome that. And it was just because we didn't really think about that going into that transaction. It wasn't one of those things on our checklist. It is now. It is now, Mike, but it wasn't at the time.
Yeah, those are hard lessons, but they're good lessons, and I mean, it really, yeah, everybody talks about that. And it just is so important to really know what really do that. This is a relationship, right? It's an arranged marriage in a way, and really doing all that homework up front, being as thorough as possible to really understand what's what. Very important.
Well, you go to these peer groups, whether it's service leadership or whether it's True Methods with Gary Pica or any number of the peer groups that are out there, and they will give you good advice if you are prepared to take it, if you will listen to it. And when you make mistakes, you can always think back to, gee whiz, I remember Gary Pica saying that, or I remember Paul Dipple talking about that. And okay, now I see why. It's a real awareness point.
Yeah. Are you in one peer group, multiple peer groups?
Yeah, we're in a couple of different peer groups. We are in a security and compliance peer group where um, it's not much of a stretch to look out there and see how important security and compliance is becoming. And we're really ramping up our compliance as a service and our foundational security offering. And the security and compliance peer group that we're in is absolutely fantastic. And it's nice to have somebody who knows a lot more than you do, who's the peer group leader. And so there's always something that we learn from peer group leader. There's always something that we learn from other members who are in the group. We also are members of peer groups on the copier side of our business. There are copier dealers who are investing in MSPs. They're growing their own. They're buying MSPs. So we're able to participate in those conversations and add value and learn things. Peer groups can be really valuable. I mean, you can learn a lot in peer groups.
Yeah. In my opinion, as having talked to countless acquirers, sellers, and across the board, really kind of having an ear to this community over the past year now. Um, First thing you should do if you're thinking of selling is just join a peer group if you're not in one yet. But be in a good peer group. I'm obviously gonna mention True Methods peer group. Gary Pica's group is amazing. Reach out to them if you are not in there. You've got something that's holding you back, even if you're doing amazing. You need somebody else to look at that, and people to talk to and bounce things off of, because you'll smash through. And then when you go to sell, you're higher value.
I was just out at the Say Connect conference and sat in on a couple of Gary Pica presentations, and they were absolutely fantastic. And a lot of the conversation was all about EBITDA. And if you want to, if an MSP wants to drive their valuation, they've got to make sure that their financials are right, because they're one of the main things you're looking at is the EBITDA value of companies that are doing business. And the better that financial balance sheet is, the better off the financial transaction will be.
Yeah, this is fantastic. Great conversation. So we know who is somebody who should talk to you, and now let's talk about how they should reach you. How can they contact you?
Well, they can call me, they can email me. Do you want me to give out my phone number and email address, Mike?
Anything you want to throw out there, go for it.
Well, you can call me directly, 469-549-5417. You can get me on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a great platform for connecting, and I accept connection requests all the time from folks who are curious. My email is jhuffaker, Huffaker at datamaxinc.com. Whether we end up doing business or not, or you just have questions, feel free to reach out to me. Happy to talk, happy to share ideas, happy to visit.
Yeah, thank
You know,
you for
we,
that. And one of the
yeah,
things I love about this community is everybody is really just they're open to talk to anybody, and then very helpful. Is that peer group mentality. I think every buyer really brings that in this community.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, one of the things that, when I'm looking at potential partners, I really want to get to know the ownership team. I want to know who they are and what their philosophies are and what their values are. That's something I've learned through the years is get to know the folks at the top, get to know the ownership. The ownership will tell you a lot about the company, and you've got to spend that time because it's a real relationship.
Justin, thank you so much for talking to me. I can't thank you enough for taking the time out of your busy day to share with the MSP community. For everyone watching, we thank you and tune in every Monday on the Kaseya YouTube channel. Remember, we put out episodes of M&A Unpacked every single Monday. We've got a playlist over on YouTube. Get over there, smash that subscribe button, go follow the playlist, and make sure to come back and we'll see you on the next episode, everyone.
Thanks, Mike.